Yo, Trojan family, what's up? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Happy Monday to you, Monday evening, Tuesday morning, whenever you're listening. Thank you for always making this a part of your day. Quick update for you, 2 more staff additions for USC. They may not be the most well-known positions, behind-the-scenes guys, but nonetheless, this is what's very important about building the program the right way, is getting all the right people in place that do all the behind-the-scenes work that just give your team better opportunities to win. So, added today, and these first were reported from my guy, Fight on Rusty, so gotta give credit. I saw other outlets come out, never mentioned my guy, Rusty, but he was the first to put it out there, first to report it. So credit where credit is due. But USC hires Baylor Director of Football Strategy, Killian. It's going to be likely a similar role. Remember, and then I'll get to a little bit more about Killian, but the Trojans just lost Joe DeRazio, who was their Director of Football Strategy. Killian, which is not to be confused for Killian O'Connor, was Baylor's Director of Football Strategy. So not announced what his role will be, but most likely sliding in for the exact same role that Joe DeRazio was. Joe DeRazio, remember, was hired by Utah as their GM. So a large promotion going from this assistant, this Director of Football Strategy, to a GM of a Big 12 school. Killian very much probably on a similar path. Ironically enough, USC hired Joe DeRazio from Baylor, who was Baylor's Director of Football Strategy, comes to USC last year, is USC's Director of Football Strategy for a season before being promoted to GM by Utah, and now they go back to Baylor and get his successor in Killian and give him likely the same role that Joe DeRazio left here. So, it's good to see that role filled. I talked about when DeRazio ultimately got promoted by Utah, how, what he was able to do and help behind the scenes with Lincoln Riley, specifically on the offensive side, just in different, strategy. And it's really just, film breakdown and stuff that you can add, to practices, in terms of different plays to test out certain scouting reports you're getting from, other teams and whatnot, and watching their film to be able to break it down. So certainly an important role behind the scenes. And so now being able to fill that with Killian, and a little bit more about him, just his background, played college football. Let me double check here just to make sure I'm not saying wrong. Played fullback and tight end at Texas Tech from 2016 to 2020. And then after playing collegiately, he went on in 2021 and became a quality control coach at Texas Tech. In 2022, he became an assistant tight ends coach at Louisiana Tech. And then from 23 to 24, he was an offensive graduate assistant at North Texas. And last year, then hired by Baylor as their Director of Football Strategy under Dave Aranda, and now he will be obviously at USC. So solid addition to the staff, and again, filling we'll wait till it's officially announced, but likely filling the position that was left by Joe DeRazio, and so certainly a position that Lincoln Riley sees as useful within his front office and within his weekly preparation during game weeks and during, practice and film sessions. So nice addition there. On top of that, again, you'll see it here. I'll put it up on the screen. My guy Rusty put it out there first. But the Trojans also add former Oklahoma wide receiver, played for Lincoln Riley. So obviously familiarity with Coach Riley, with his offense, with his system, with what he wants wide receivers to do. Lee Morris, hired as an analyst, working with outside receivers, and wide receiver coach Dennis Simmons, who has some obviously familiarity at Oklahoma as well and history there. So after Oklahoma, Morris played 3 seasons in the USFL, which then merged to the UFL. And then was an offensive quality control coach last year with the Memphis Showboats of the UFL. So again, just another additional analyst. There's really no number now of how many coaches you can have. There's no cap on that. So if you can add more great minds As long as they fit within the culture and the structure of what Coach Riley and the I don't want to say top tier, but what the overall arch of the staff wants, then why it's definitely not bad, having more of that. So, yeah, there's your 2 additions. So you get another wide receiver mind to help out with Dennis Simmons, and I'm sure he'll do some crossover with Chad Savage as well. Chad Savage, obviously, inside receivers, tight ends, and pass game coordinator. So a lot on his plate on top of all the recruiting. So this is just another body that will be able to help with the receivers, that knows the system, that knows Coach Riley, and can bring a lot to the table, I think, in just that wealth of knowledge and maybe taking some off the plates of those 2 coaches in Simmons and Savage. So there you have it, your 2 hires. Connor Killian, again, likely will become the director of football strategy. And then Lee Morris, hired as an analyst who will work directly with outside receivers. Hit that like and subscribe button. I've got a bunch of recruiting notes that I've been compiling all day that I will be dropping out tomorrow. So the day got away from me is my wife's first official day back to the office. Luckily, she doesn't have to go to the office a ton, but she does go a few days a week. Today was her first day back. So I was on full dad duty with the newborn. Hard to record with a 2-month-old baby that wants to be held all day. So I was able to compile notes and talk to some people and do this and that, but I wasn't able to jump on and record as much as I would have liked. So tomorrow I'll have a lot more recruiting stuff coming out. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, I appreciate you, family. Let's keep this thing rolling. Tons of stuff to talk about in the offseason. Just because the season's over doesn't mean there's not USC football to talk about, which I love, which is why we do this, and which is why I appreciate you always tuning in here to get all the information and news that you want. So appreciate you guys so much, and as always,
What's up, Trojan family? Got to tell you about a quick update from our friends over at Sleeper. Remember, they're the #1 sports app and absolutely fantastic for fantasy and daily fantasy, but they've just added a fantastic new features, and they've launched team picks. So now you can choose winners of each game out there, whether it's NBA, MLB. I know football's over. It's coming back soon. Don't worry. NHL, all those. And you just pick the team winner of each of those games. So here in Los Angeles, Lakers, whoever they're playing next. Do you pick the Lakers? Do you pick their opponent? Dodgers season just around the corner. Are you picking the Dodgers or are you picking their opponent? It's that easy. It's that simple, and it's that much fun. So aside from fantasy, aside from the daily fantasy pick'em, now you can do the team picks that they just launched. So download the Sleeper app today, #1 sports app. Go and check it out and have a ton of fun, and make sure to keep it right here at USC LAFB.